Hey, good morning, yogis. How you guys doing today? Oh yeah, thank you. Alrighty, so it is Thursday. I want to remind everybody about Brady's workshop coming up. The 5 fundamentals should be awesome. Be sure to check that out on the website and register and find out what that is all about. Sounds awesome. And as usual, super thank you for all of your support for me and the studio here. And if you have requests and want to work on something in particular in a class, just let me know. And thank you for taking me up on my offer for those of you that are sending me emails with videos to help you out with finer details of certain poses that are kind of hard to progress with if you are in your own room all by yourself. So just send me videos and I'll help you out with anything, okay? So let's go ahead and start in child's pose.
I'll take a deep inhale. And start to check in with the breath here. Just that simple observation of that shape-shifting quality of the torso with each breath. I really hope you can't hear my stomach. And begin to lengthen both sides of the breath and start to create that space between the inhale and the exhale. And between the exhale and the inhale. That little space where the mind is most calm and focused. There's no rush. No gripping. It's in that space on either side where we teach the nervous system that everything we are doing is just fine. Without that retention that is. So there's just a kind of a hanging around, a pause. And so this is the breath we want to keep with us as we move through maybe potentially challenging poses or sequences or memories. Just breathe this way. Then reach out through the fingertips and start to walk the hands on over to the right side. Get lots of length on one side, lots of compression, and that same breath here. Walk the hands back to center, yogis, and on over to the other side. And walk the hands back to center. Keep the hands shoulder width apart here. Start to push down through the shins just so to develop that downward current here. That same current that we use through the feet Use it through the shins and the tops of the feet, and that's what's going to pop the torso up. No effort, no breath. The breath is secondary. Let's figure out the body parts and then use the breath to support the movement rather than think it's capable of initiating it. So push and lean and bring the gaze forward and inhale. And then sink the hips and exhale. Push, keep the arms straight. Inhale. And exhale, sink the hips. Push and lean and inhale. Sink the hips. Exhale now. Push and inhale. And then sink the chin and chest and exhale. Pull forward onto the belly. Inhale now. Squeeze the elbows together behind you. Make sure they're right at your waist. And then push through the hands and sink the hips. Exhale. Push and inhale now. Exhale. Kind of pull back even a little bit. And then pull forward onto the belly or lift the thighs up. And then one more time back to child's pose. All right, so these are like a modified sun salutation. Push and lean forward and inhale. And exhale, chin and chest. Pull forward and inhale, lift the thighs up off of the mat, push through the tops of the feet. And then use the belly, lift the hips, and exhale just as you're almost all the way into down dog. So in this down dog, yogis, you can walk in place a little bit, move the hips side to side. Take one leg up behind you at a time. Do whatever. Just move, but breathe the same way. There's no need to change the breath. We're not really doing anything. Then start to walk the hands back to meet the feet here. Keep the feet hip width apart. And you can cross the arms, grab opposite elbows, let the neck relax. And breathe. And even notice how the body moves as you breathe in this position. So maybe it doesn't matter what shapes you're making, whether it's just a seated position or standing up with your foot behind the head. None of that really matters. Maybe it's the observation of the breath that defines the level of your practice. And start to walk the hands on over to that right side. Press the opposite hip back. And then walk on over to the other side. Come on back to center, yogis. Walk the hands toward the front of the mat. And then we'll bring the feet up to meet the hands. So you can keep the feet hip width apart or bring the toes together, create some internal rotation on the legs, and push through the feet so much that you just kind of end up standing in Tadasana, all right? Start to push down. Push so much that the toes just kind of naturally lift up and then set them down. No effort, no gripping. Push and lift the arches. That is where Mula Bandha begins, is that push and lift. That's that same experience that you want at the pelvic floor. So push, draw energy up, let that energy lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs, lift up through the inner thighs. And then all of that pushing and lifting throughout your entire asana practice is what gives that support to the bandhas. So bandhas come and go. It's kind of a natural part of the process, so I'll remind you often. You can draw the low belly in and up just slightly. Lift the heart center, take the shoulders down and back, and press the palms together actively and create integration in the shoulder girdle. And we'll go through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar. Inhale, reach up overhead. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lengthen. Plant the hands, step or hop back to Chaturanga Dandasana or onto the belly just to measure. Inhale, reach. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you can take the heels apart just enough so that they're out of view. Lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. And same breath. On the next inhale, yogis, bring the gaze forward. You can lift the hips nice and high, float the feet up, land softly, finish that inhale. And exhale, Uttanasana. Push and inhale, come back up to vertical. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, keep the legs active. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, keep the gaze forward, yogis, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, reach. And exhale, lift. That lift to down dog is toward the back of the room, not up. And so reach through the sit bones like you want to leave an imprint of your butt in the wall behind you. That'll answer all of the questions about what to do with your shoulders. You can keep them up around the ears or take them down and back. Lots of ways, as many ways as there are people. On the next inhale, yogis, lift the hips nice and high, float the feet up, maybe lift all the way up to your handstand, who knows. Exhale, use the belly to pull the torso in. Push and inhale, press the palms together actively. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the gaze forward and exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. Good. Mula Bandha. Same breath. And on that next inhale, yogis, float the feet up, land softly. Make sure you've got that internal spin on the legs here. Exhale, use the belly to pull. Push and inhale, come on up effortlessly, reach up overhead. And exhale, Tadasana. Nice. Go ahead and hop the feet hip width apart. Sink the hips, plant the hands, shoulder width apart, lift up onto the toes, yogis, scoop that belly, all right? Keep the gaze forward so you can kind of lean forward into this. If you are working on this with straight arms, it's going to be all about pulling the belly in and pulling the thighs together and lifting up off of the arms. So not just relying on the backs of the arms to carry the weight of the body. So we're going to work on this a few more times. So you can exhale, take a vinyasa, step back or float back or whatever, or just step back to down dog. And then inhale, hop forward, come right back into crow pose. Maybe you want to land on the backs of the arms. If you want to learn how to do that, just email me. I will help you with that for sure. We've worked on it a little bit. It's all about how to jump out of it, and that's what's going to get you jumping into it. So go ahead and take a vinyasa, please. And then inhale, jump forward, Bakasana. Pull the inner thighs together, draw the belly in. So you want to think high and tight. Push through the hands. So you want to push into the floor, not away from the floor. That's not the right dynamic for this stuff. You want to work with gravity, welcome gravity rather than resist it. Let gravity do all of the work. Take a vinyasa. And then we'll do that one more time. Go ahead and jump back into it. Breathe the same way we were breathing in child's pose. Create that space on both sides of the breath, even in Bakasana. Bakasana and child's pose are exactly the same shape, just different position of the arms. So the breath doesn't need to change. Go ahead and take a vinyasa, please. Nice work, yogis. And from your down dog, inhale, jump through into Navasana. Lift up out of the pelvis, space in the armpit area, and even that little bit of space between the heels. If you can straighten your legs, do it. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift up onto the shins. Push and inhale, lift up out of the pelvis. And exhale, Ustrasana. You can tuck the toes for a little less distance to travel. Push and inhale, come on back up to vertical. You can take a vinyasa or lift up to a tripod base headstand. Inhale, lift the legs. And exhale. Chaturanga. We'll meet up in down dog however you care to get there. And inhale, jump through to Navasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale onto the shins. Push and inhale, lift up out of the pelvis. And exhale, Ustrasana. Inhale, bring the torso up. Exhale, plant the head and hands. Push through the hands. Inhale, lift the legs. Couple of breaths here. Keep the shoulders up and away from the ears. And exhale. Good. Inhale, jump through to Navasana. Keep the front of the body nice and long. Inhale, lengthen. Plant the hands. Exhale, lift up onto the shins. Take your time. Push and inhale. Lift up out of the pelvis. And exhale, Ustrasana. Take a couple of breaths here. Push through the shins. Inhale, bring the torso up.
Exhale, plant the head and hands, or just step back to down dog. Inhale, lift the legs. Tripod-based headstand, only if you have a good headstand practice, yogis. And then make your way to down dog, however you care to get there. All right. From your down dog, inhale, Navasana. Exhale onto the shins. Inhale, lift. Exhale, Ustrasana. Push and inhale, bring the torso up. Exhale, plant the head and hands, lift the hips. Inhale, lift the legs. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale onto the shins. Inhale the torso up. Exhale, reach for the heels. Inhale, back up to vertical, just push through the shins, wonder how you got there. Exhale, plant the head and hands. Inhale, lift the legs, maybe, doesn't really matter. Exhale, take a vinyasa. Good. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale onto the shins. Push and inhale, bring the torso up. Exhale, Ustrasana. Push and inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, yogis. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale onto the shins. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Ustrasana. Inhale up to vertical. Exhale, plant the head and hands. Inhale, lift the legs. Exhale, Vinyasa. Perfect. Nice work. From your down dog, yogis, go ahead and I'll give you a couple of options here. You can start to lift and lower the elbows. Push through the hands so you're pushing toward the back of the room, not like ending up in a plank push-up, but kind of stay in that same down dog shape. So you're kind of moving forward and back. And you can lift up into Pinchamayurasana if you like, or just keep one foot on the floor. If you're working on Pincha, but still working on it at the wall, you can work on little lifts. There's no pressure to bring the feet together, or just keep one foot up and do little hops here. So be sure not to use that top leg for momentum. You want to keep that top leg as high as you can and use that bottom foot to start to lift the hips up, okay? And we'll spend about 1 more minute here. We'll work on forearm balance more later. So little lifts and then switch. If you're keeping one leg up and just doing little lifts, switch legs. Even though it's not imperative that you are able to do both sides right away, if you're doing those little lifts, it's nice to work on both sides, all right? Nice work, yogis. And then we'll meet up in down dog, however you care to get there. From your down dog, inhale forward to a plank position. Open up to Vashisthasana on the right hand. So any leg variation here, you can take that top leg straight up if you like, or take that foot back behind you for a more back bendy version, or you can modify it however you like, all right? We'll do this a couple of times. Lift the hips nice and high, same space in the armpit area. On the next exhale, Chaturanga
Inhale. And exhale. Inhale forward, Vashisthasana on that left hand. Mula Bandha even here, lift the hips. And exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. Inhale forward, Vashisthasana on that right arm. Any leg variation. Lift the hips a little bit higher, enough so that you can create space in the armpit area. Nice. And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. And exhale. You got this, yogis. Inhale forward. Vashisthasana on that left hand. Nice work. Take a vinyasa. And we're going to do this one more time. Just because we're gonna do other stuff later. So we're just gonna like bang these out right now. All right. So inhale forward to a plank position. Come into Vashisthasana on that right hand. Stack the top foot in front of the bottom foot. Inhale, lift the hips a little bit higher, and then exhale, lower the hips just so that they're hovering. Push through the hand and inhale, and exhale. Push and inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So notice I'm cueing to exhale when you're all the way down already, and inhaling when the hips are all the way up. So you don't need to make the breath last the same length as the movement. Wait until you're in it. It's more effective breathing. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Push and inhale. Exhale, take a vinyasa. Good job, and we'll do that on the other side. Inhale forward, come onto that left hand. Stack that top foot in front of the bottom foot. Lift a little bit higher and inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Use the bandhas. Push through the hand. That's what's going to lift your hips up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Take a vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. Inhale forward to a plank position. What the hell? Come into Vashisthasana. Nice work. Bring that bottom knee to the mat. Push and inhale. Bring the torso up. And then slide the hand down the leg for Parigasana. And start to rotate, bring the gaze up under the arm. And rotate the rib cage up. You can keep these toes straight ahead or out to the side. It's going to depend on how you're built. Inhale, bring the torso up, and exhale, reach back for that heel. Take the other hand back behind you. Push and inhale, bring the torso up. We're going to turn toward the leg that's extended and pull the toes toward you. These hips should be super high. Pull the toes toward you more. Still push through that shin. We've done it a lot so far, the shin and the top of that back foot. Keep pushing. It's almost like it propels you forward. Inhale, lengthen, bring the torso up just halfway, and then externally rotate the front foot and come on back into a forward fold. So you want to turn those toes all the way out to the side. Keep this leg active. This should not feel good in any way. Mula Bandha. Even here, we aren't stretching. Inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and level out that front leg, and then sink the hips forward for Anjaneyasana. Nice work, yogis. Push through that front foot, sink the hips back. So nothing needs to shift, just the movement of the pelvis. And then turn to the side. Inhale, bring that torso up, and then right back into Parigasana, just for a breath. Inhale, plant the hands, step into Vashisthasana. And exhale. Take a vinyasa. Nice work. Inhale forward to a plank position. Open up to Vashisthasana on the left hand. And then bring that bottom knee to the mat. Push and inhale. Bring the torso up. Parigasana. So keep reaching, push into the floor. Everything is just as active as everything else. Push more and keep the legs active. And start to rotate the torso up. Mula Bandha. Push and inhale, bring the torso up, yogis, and then reach back for that heel. Take that other arm back behind you. Keep that leg that's out to the side active. Push and inhale. Turn toward the leg that's extended. Level out that back leg and pull those toes toward you. Sink the hips a little bit. There's no stretching going on here. Everything's active. It doesn't matter how close you get the torso to the leg anyway. The only thing that matters is what you think about how close
or far away it is.
Inhale, lengthen, bring the torso up halfway. Externally rotate that front leg. Yow! And then come on, ouch! Come on into a forward fold. Keep this leg active. Mula Bandha. Inhale, lengthen, bring the toes back up toward the sky, and then shift the hips forward. Anjaneyasana. This knee, you need to let it come out past the ankle. And then go ahead and plant the hands, push, and take those hips back, yogis. Pivot toward the side once again. Inhale, bring the torso up. Exhale, Parigasana. And come on back up. Step back into Vashisthasana, please. Nice and easy. And take a vinyasa. I love it. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the wall for some inversions, okay? So everything you've done has completely prepared you for what we're about to do now. So handstand, we did a little bit of Pincha Mayurasana already, so you're more than welcome to work on that. Headstand or shoulder stand, all right? So my suggestion today is sometimes we work on incorporating the drop backs into our inversion practice. So if you're working on handstand, I'll go through some ideas. Pincha, I'll go through some ideas. Headstand, I'll go through some ideas. And then if you are in shoulder stand, then you can always drop into bridge pose. And by drop, I mean gracefully, slowly place your feet on the floor, all right? If you are going into bridge pose from shoulder stand, in shoulder stand, typically you have your hands like this. So be sure to flip the direction of your hands, bring your thumbs in toward the spine. You don't leave your wrists in this position when you put that weight on them. Go ahead and shift your hands around a little bit. If you are in handstand, we love this stuff. You can always just move a little bit further away from the wall. And start to practice bringing that foot down, right? So when you're in it, how to get out of it, pull through the hands and pull that gaze forward. This is what's going to get you out of it, not kicking up out of it. What's going to get you out of it is by pulling effectively, pulling that chest forward, all right? Same in forearm balance, is you want to be able to pull and bring the gaze forward and pull and pull. I'll just demonstrate it because I don't know what I'm talking about. Pull, what was I talking about? Sorry. If you're using the wall for Pincha to work on more of a back bend, yes, pull and bring the gaze forward. So if you're coming into more of a back bend, chances are it shifts into this shape, pull forward. All right, and the same thing in your headstand practice. Or just say, forget it, I'm just working on inversions, all right, no big deal. And we'll stay upside down for a few more minutes. Hopefully you guys practice other times, not just for these 5 minutes
or so in a class. Okay, 10. But hopefully you are practicing at other times. If you want a really nice schedule, a training schedule for inversions, let me know. I'm more than happy to provide that so that you really progress, so that when you get to this part of a class and you only have a couple of minutes, there's some shifts, some progression, unless you are okay doing the same thing forever, which is also fine. But for sure, let me know. Lots of ways to address it, and there's no one formula. It depends on where someone is right now, and that's where the starting point is, and all of the steps are different for every person. So just let me know. And in the meantime, you are either upside down or working on getting out of a back bend back into your inversion, okay? You guys are crushing it today. I love it. And I did have a request from the Christian in Buenos Aires and for Garbha Pindasana. I wonder, we're going to get to it. Don't worry. I'm assessing this whole time, see what's going to happen, if that's really going to work for me. We'll figure it out. All right. In the meantime, you're upside down, working on drop overs. So one thing to remember when you are lifting up back into an inversion out of a back bend, you guys, that it is not all about kicking. You really want to teach the upper body what it's meant to be doing. There's a pull and a reach and a kind of a bringing the gaze through, and that's really what's going to get your hips back up over the shoulders, and then the legs will kind of follow along for the ride. We can spend more time on this tomorrow. That sounds like a good idea. All right, so one more minute. It's about 6 breaths. I'm just envisioning all of you right now. You're looking good. And if you want a couple of breaths in child's pose, that's totally fine with me, or just come on into down dog. And from your down dog yogis, right foot forward. I'll give you a couple of choices here. You may either come into or bend the front knee for Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Up to you, whatever you do, push. Keep both legs active. Here to come into a forward fold. If you do come into a forward fold in Hanumanasana or Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, then whatever you do, make sure you continue to push into the floor. So you're not just stretching or ripping the shit out of your hamstring or psoas or whatever, but actually actively pushing. It should make you feel like you're lifting up a little bit. That's what's going to get the torso nice and high. If you are in the splits and you're resting on your hands, get off of them. Back leg to do more of the work. Do you want me to keep going? If your front foot is pointed, then point the back foot. If you want to flex the front foot, then tuck the back toes so that there's equal energy distribution. If you are in a forward fold, come on back up to vertical, you guys, all right? And in behind you with the opposite hand. Keep the legs active, Mula Bandha.
And same breath even here. And bring the gaze back to center. Go ahead and release that twist. And any back bend version that you're working on, you can bend that back knee. Do whatever you like. Or just keep the torso upright. This is a big old back bend when you look at the relationship between the back leg and the torso anyway. So bending that back knee doesn't magically make it a back bend. We were doing all of this in our inversions anyway. You had one leg way back behind you when we were working on those drop backs, same shape. Wherever you are, tuck the back toes, lift, and take a vinyasa. And we'll do that on the other side. Good. Pigeon or Hanumanasana. Push. Keep lots of length. You can come into a forward fold if you like. Try to get that weight off of the hands. Same breath. Don't listen to my breath as I'm like gasping for air. Okay. Push and lift the pelvic floor. Be better than me. Yogis, if you are in a forward fold, bring the torso up. Let's take that twist. So reach around behind you. Ah. And inhale, bring the gaze back to center. If you want to bend that back knee, go for it. Or just stay right where you are. And then wherever you are, yogis, tuck the back toes. Gracefully. Take a vinyasa. Good Lord. All right, inhale, jump through. All right, so we are gonna work on Garbha Pindasana, but no way in hell can I do it just because as my back is healing. It's that super tight scoop of the belly that I am still in process with. So Garbha Pindasana, I'm going to give you lots of options for this, okay? So if you hate full lotus, then the great thing is you don't need to do it, all right? So here's what Garbha Pindasana, you can come into any cross-legged position or come into full lotus or whatever, and balance, get a clasp around the legs if you like, or I'm going to show you the Chidi version. This is the D-Pain special right here. So you can shove your arm in between the calf and the thigh, or the inner thigh. What's that called? Hamstring. And then bring that leg on top and bring your hands through. So it looks like you are in full lotus and your arms are through it, but you're not really. And then you can, this is the part I can't do. So normally you want to get your elbows all the way through it and then rest your head in your hands like this. So do that on both sides. You can also just do this, hold on here, or get a clasp if you like. And then you're going to roll on your back 9 times. So you're going to roll up and down your spine 9 times in a circle. That 9th time, you roll back up facing the direction you started in right now and balance on your sit bones. All right? So do that. Rocking up and down the spine. Your arms are, you're still holding onto your legs. And then when you get done with the rocking up and down the spine, you can lift right up into Kukutasana. Or lift up, I don't think I can do it. Maybe I might. Yep, I can do it like that. Or you can lift up to Tolasana, all right? So that's the deal. That's where you're going to end up, is in one arm balance or another. And this is where you end up. In Kukutasana. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that's what you're doing. And then you can go ahead and come on out of that, and then you can do a full lotus jump back or just let go and take a vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. Inhale, jump through. Bend the right knee, bring that other foot to the outside of that thigh. Lean back a little bit, draw the belly in, and then push the torso up. Ardha Matsyendrasana 1. Whatever you want to do with this arm. Push through this front foot. Space in the armpit area. Inhale, bring the gaze back to center. Go ahead and release the twist. Plant the hands. And switch legs. Lean back, draw the belly in, and then push the torso up into the twist. And inhale, bring the gaze back to center. Yogis, release the twist, plant the hands, unwind as you take one final vinyasa. And inhale, jump through. Exhale, lie on the back. And take the feet wide and take the arms wide. Take a deep inhale. Relax the jaw. Let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. Let the eyes soften. And smooth out that little space between the eyebrows. And slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the body. And back to the breath. And find a breath here, yogis, that you can keep with you as you move through the balance of your day. A breath that calms the mind and guides the intellect in the right direction. Begin to move fingers and toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. And roll the legs and arms in and out. Turn the head to one side and then the other. Take a big stretch up overhead and stretch all the way from the fingertips down through the toes. And from the toes back up through the fingertips. Hug the knees to the chest and roll all the way over onto your left side, and then all the way over onto your right side. And come on up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed. Bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self. We'll chant one Om. Take a deep inhale. Om. We are all one, yogis. Namaste. Have a great day. Thank you for the privilege, as always. Waheguru, fearlessness and mercy at all times. That is the message of Shiva. See you guys later. Bye.